Hi, good morning, everyone. I'm Ross from Hive Business. Just wanted to record a personal message today about a particular aspect which I think I believe has an almost existential issue in dentistry, and it's something which I've been uncovering over the last kind of 9 to 12 months, and has real kind of serious and profound implications. So I'm going to frame it as something that I call the profit equation. And broadly speaking, all I'm really trying to kind of articulate, I suppose, is that in any business, income has to be more than expenses. Now, I don't think that's kind of wildly outrageous, but I want to add a little bit of extra depth to that to see how it kind of applies to dentistry in particular, and then why I believe this is a kind of a bubbling problem that not enough people are aware about. So broadly, what I'm going to do is take that very simple kind of income more than expenses theory, just apply a little bit extra kind of detail to it, because in dentistry, what I found out that is the economic model is still relatively straightforward, but what I want to frame it as is profit, which ultimately I believe is our outcome and our a very healthy thing to have in a dental practice, because it allows investment. It makes everything worthwhile. It's absolutely okay in a commercial organization, in my opinion. So profit in a dental practice is inherently a function of three moving parts, and only three moving parts. So the first one is the income that is generated. Now, I like to look at that on a by clinician basis because, well, broadly speaking, they can vary. So what we like to do is kind of really zone in on that. And actually, it's one of the really good metrics we use to track the income is something called the ADY, the average daily yield. So I believe this is something that every dental practice should track for each of its clinicians. Broadly speaking, how that works is, if you've got a clinician, they've generated £20,000 in the month of gross fees, and they've worked for 10 days, then their average daily yield is £2,000 a day. So if we take that as our marker for income, that's the first component of the equation. Well, the second component is how much you're paying that clinician. Now, thankfully in dentistry, we've got a fairly kind of tight framework for how clinicians are paid. We believe that probably the average at this moment for a private practice dentist is probably about 45% pay rate. It can vary a little bit with NHS because of the UDA pay rate, but broadly speaking, we're in this kind of tight banding where dentists are paid somewhere between 40 to 50% of the gross fees that's generated. So a really nice framework. Hygienists, again, fairly similar. There's a nice tight framework there, which we know. The third part, and the only remaining part of the equation, is what I'm going to call this surgery overhead cost. So it's all the running costs of the business, everything else that you might see on a profit and loss account, on your set of accounts at the end of the year. It's everything else on that profit and loss account, other than how much you paid the clinician. That's as simple as it gets. Now, the really interesting thing is we can do the maths on the running costs for a business. We add them all up, we work out what they are, look at them from the set of accounts so they're nice and tightly audited. We work out how many surgeries you've got, and then we can very easily come to what this surgery overhead costs. And then we're there. It's very easy to then piece together this profit equation, look at the revenue that's generated, look at how much a clinician's paid, fairly allocate them a running cost to the business. Now, the really interesting finding in all of this, and this is why I think it's an existential issue, is that quite often what we find is by the time we add that up, take the income, work out how much they get paid, add the overhead cost that it costs to run the business, like the staff cost, the rent, the rates, the insurance, the lecky bill, all of those things you have, quite often what we can end up with is a number that's very close to zero. Now, you'll have to trust me at this moment in time, but we've done this calculation hundreds of times, and it can end up maybe not exactly zero, but very, very close to zero, where it is kind of, it's a little bit kind of, a little bit of a shame to find out that number when you get to it. But I do believe it's a good and healthy thing. If there's bad news there, I believe we want to know about it so we can tend to it. So yeah, I absolutely recommend we run the maths for all clinicians. We work out who's doing well, who's not doing well, and then we can work out how we're going to improve that situation. Because the backstop to all of this is I believe dentistry is an amazing profession and it, absolutely has all the opportunity. We can't sleepwalk through this. So I want to shine a spotlight on this. I want to make sure that everyone knows exactly how they're doing. So we're not kind of kidding ourselves. We're not subsidizing one part of the business for the other. Let's look at that profit equation. We can help you with it. We'd love to. It's part of our diagnostic service where we do a full in-depth audit of a practice. But simultaneously our accountancy team can help just the profit equation if that's all you need. So yeah, please get in contact today, and I look forward to help shining the spotlight on an area and helping you improve your business and making it more profitable. Thank you very much.